We are talking FireFox Gold today. FireFox trades as FFOX, Toronto Venture Exchange, FFOXF, OTCQB in the States. They have some nice hits there up at the Mustajärvi Project, up there in Lapland in Finland. Here run the details of that news. I've got the chairman, Patrick Highsmith. All right, Patrick, appreciate the update here. I know you're on the other side of the world, but thanks for the time here. Fantastic results here. I know you've been waiting on these. Why don't you run through the highlights here for investors?
Yes, indeed, Rob. Great news coming out of northern Finland. Really good news out this week from our Mustajärvi project. And really the highlight here is just first up, a shout out to the team. The technical team on the ground has done so much work here, Rob. It's like finding, kind of pearls in on this structure we've got here. And they keep putting the puzzle together and drilling. And I'm just going to show you the result of some systematic drilling around a discovery that comes to surface here at the Mustajärvi project. And obviously the highlight, I'd refer people to the release, and I'm sure you'll throw a few figures up as we talk about this. But basically the highlight is we drilled 5 holes up in this zone right at the end of the year, kind of rushed the drill out there and got these holes in after some tremendous results that came out in the summer and fall of last year. And the highlights are right up front in the news release. Drill hole 24 up there hit 13 meters of 15 grams from only 29.6 meters below surface. It included some zingers, 0.8 meters of 100 grams in there, a meter of 171 grams, a little bit deeper, only 90 meters down, but a little bit deeper. So that hole, again, a real zinger, more than 200 gram meters, almost 300 gram meters of grade thickness of gold in that hole. Hole 25, about 25 meters away, we hit again 12.55 meters of 14 grams, 14.3 grams from only 14 meters depth, pretty much at surface. Again, that one had a meter of 65 grams in it, 2 meters of 50 grams in it. So high grade coming to surface. And it's really the result of systematically approaching this thing. And we show that in figure 1 of the news release, where you can see a cluster of drill hole assays projected to surface. Those warm colors, the reds and the oranges, showing you the high grade coming to surface there. And what we see is the initial discovery here were holes 22 MJ006 and 18. Those both hit this high grade at surface. And there was some other stuff before that, but those really got us going. And then as we stepped out around that, the audience will see we came in and we drilled on sort of 25 meter grid around there. And lo and behold, the thing's still open, Rob. We've got gold going off to the southwest, very strongly indicated to the south. There's a really nice area to the northwest that got a real high-grade assay up there with nothing. We hit it a little deeper, and we haven't tested the surface. So I encourage people to check out that figure 1 in the news release to see how this looks in a plan view. And then I think really one of the other stories, Rob, is we show a long section through the whole bloody property almost. Well, this property is like 3 kilometers long, and we show about 2 kilometers here. And on the top of this figure 2, we show the magnetics, which shows this big structure going there that we've been drilling along for a couple of years. And then we show, hanging in a cross section, the east target, where all these high-grade gold bubbles come to surface. The northeast target, they're a little bit deeper, maybe 100 meters, 150 meters. And then the central zone, they also come to surface. So imagine you got this structure out there, creating the porosity and permeability, and the gold juices have come in there. And when we look at that in cross-section, we can see we've got some stuff to figure out, because it looks like there's some folding in the rocks, Rob, that might explain why some of this comes to surface and some of it's a little deeper. And you know what that means. We'll be hunting for treasure. Where are these other pearls? Maybe close to surface, maybe a little bit deeper. These orogenic systems often get higher grade at depth. And so clearly we'll want to drill deep at some point. But with these sort of results coming to surface, that's really the exciting news. And then we throw a few more figures at folks in the news release, and these are cross sections zoomed right in on the drilling. And in the cross sections, we show the shape of this thing. And there's some new information here for the nerds in the crowd, the geo nerds. They're going to see that when you look at these cross sections, we've shown the modeled gold shapes. So that's sort of the gold above a cutoff grade of 0.5 gram or something. And you can see the purple and warm colors are the high grade. They come to surface and they're kind of flat lying, almost like maybe an umbrella shape. And yet every now and then you see they also go off to depth. And if you look closely at the sections, we show these thin gray lines, and that's the orientation of the fabric in the rock. That's probably bedding in these metasedimentary rocks, Rob, and it's been folded a little bit, and the gold is following that. So when the gold is following that structure, you see the more flat-lying, the more bulk style of mineralization, and each of the cross sections sort of shows that to folks. And then you can see in the next section, we show hole 24, it's gold at surface, and then also kind of at depth. And the same for 25. We see some gold very close to the surface, and then some assays off to the depth as well. So what we think is going on, it's all a structural geology story where you have these high angle faults, and we tap into some of those and we get zinging high grade over a couple of meters, but then it finds that favorable host rock at surface, in this particular case, blooms out into a bigger volume. And that's why you see the more flat lying shapes there that have come right to surface. And so that's the exciting part of this thing, is we've really figured out the controls, Rob. So it's not just going off and hitting some good assays as a one-off, but being to repeatedly get into the zone.
So you seem to have a handle on this a little more than certainly you did. Obviously, I can hear how excited you are about it. I guess as a prospective treasure hunter here and market enthusiast as well, how big can this get? What do you think you're on to here? Let's talk about next steps and what's really here. I know you've got a fantastic neighbor, Ignico Eagle, certainly probably paying attention as well. So what do you think you have here, Patrick?
Well, I think the bigger companies are going to start to pay attention, Rob, partly because of this does have the potential for volume and for bigger tons. And at these grades, you're getting considerable thicknesses above 10 grams, sort of repeatedly with very high grade over 100 grams in there. We now have 10 holes that are more than 90 gram meters of grade thickness, around 100, but one of them is 90. So 10 of those. 4 of them are over 200 gram meters, and that's all here in this east target. So the potential you're talking about is, and we show that if people look at our figure 1 in the release, we've got these bright blue arrows to show that this zone at the shallow part of it is wide open to the northwest, where we've got a really nice geophysical anomaly that shows up as blue and green on that map, wide open to the northwest. Wide open to the southwest. As we can see, again, we have 2 geophysical anomalies coming to the southwest we're going to pursue, and even off to the east, we see, again, a nice high-grade zone that really hasn't been tested there, and that's, again, near surface. So when you talk about the potential and you're adding up these kinds of thicknesses of this kind of grade, and we know that we have these intercepts, these 100 gram meter or 90 gram meter intercepts or better over 1.5 kilometers, Rob. So we're right in the structural zone. We're figuring out these folds and these faults. We will be filling in fairly tight in this pattern because we really want to nail down the high grade. But we'll also be, where those blue arrows are telling us to go, we'll be stepping out a little bit, and again, a systematic drill pattern here to start to add up just how big this thing might be. And given that these things, orogenic gold deposits, are not constrained at depth, they often are down, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers below surface. So not that we want to go there first, but that just shows the potential of these systems to grow. So clearly, I think with these results, you have to tick over into the category of plus 1 million ounce potential. Near surface, there's a highway running immediately south, like less than 100 meters south of this high-grade zone. So there's great access. There's power lines, paved highways, power lines here. So the potential's excellent. You mentioned Agnico Eagle. They're operating a large mine less than a half-hour drive from here with the ability to process sulfide ores. It's very interesting. And, of course, B2 Gold is our immediate neighbor here, a really strong producer in their own right, and actively drilling well to the east of here on another project. So we think the potential is for a sizable deposit here with grade. And maybe the best part of the 2023 work program, Rob, in addition to the drilling we will definitely be doing to follow up on these results, is, with a bit of trenching, unlike some discoveries that are out there in the world today, we can walk into this deposit. Okay, so we'll be putting some trenches in so that we can get many bulk samples. For the first time, we'll be able to get our hands on the ore without having to drill it. We will also drill some special holes designed for metallurgy to get a little bit of deeper bits of the mineralization. But to be able to trench it, walk into this stuff, really study it, and do a bit of metallurgical work, that'll be exciting news, and folks should stay tuned. We'll get a press release out there soon with our work program for 2023. and not just drilling. We'll get a bit of metallurgical work done and sort of figure out how you might process material like this for its potential growth into a resource.
Okay, we'll look forward to keeping our eye on you digging for that hunting hidden treasure. That's Patrick Highsmith. He is the chairman, FireFox Gold, FFOX, Toronto Venture Exchange, FFOXF, OTCQB in the States. Again, Patrick, appreciate you taking the time, and we'll look forward to checking back in when you hit the wire again.
Thanks very much. We'll see you up at PDAC. A couple of the geologists who made this discovery will be there, so hope to meet some folks there. Thanks very much, Rob.